Hi everyone, my name is Marielle. I'm the founder of Simply Finance, a boutique financial planning firm committed to empowering Filipino women. This is Simply Finance TV, a safe space for open, honest, and insightful discussions about finance. In this episode, we're simplifying the beauty of being an empowered Filipina entrepreneur with Rissa Mananquil Trillo. She's the co-founder and award-winning Filipina entrepreneur behind Happy Skin, the country's first homegrown makeup label offering innovative skin-caring makeup that can compete with the best in the world. She cemented her entrepreneurial success and was awarded Women Entrepreneur of the Year 2017, Entrepreneur of the Year EOI Philippines, a program founded and globally funded by Ernst & Young and founded in the Philippines by SGV Foundation. She was also awarded by the local entrepreneurship platform Go Negosyo and was recognized as Inspiring Filipino Entrepreneur of 2018. So welcome, Rissa. Thank you so much again.
Hi, Marielle. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So I guess I'll just start with the questions. And I guess I wanted to ask, when you were about to start your business or about to launch, did you struggle? And if you could go back through time, what would you tell yourself?
Well, maybe I'll start how I got into business.
Okay.
My introduction to business didn't really happen in a classroom or a boardroom, but it was actually within the four walls of my childhood bedroom. It was actually, I think I was 8 years old or grade 2 that my first business came to life. And I sold friendship bracelets, which were super trendy back then. And using my allowance, I would buy embroidery thread and I would weave them into bracelets and sell them for 5 pesos each. Then in grade school, when I got older, I would create my own newspaper, comics, and short stories and sell them. And my village friends would buy them because back then there was no Netflix, social media, or gadgets. And I guess the little stories I wrote entertain them. And then there was even one summer I noticed that because beside our house there's an office and the employees nearby would always walk far to the village park just to buy snacks. So what I did was I set up a table and I started selling snacks and refreshments.
Okay.
And they no longer had to leave far because everyone in that office just bought snacks from me. I was right in front of their office. So I know it sounds so simple, all of those little businesses, but looking back, I think all of this taught me about the foundations of starting a business. Like one, I wasn't afraid to create things from scratch, make the most out of opportunities and find a solution. I think you really have to know what interests you and drives you and keep your eyes open for what people value and find a way to bring both together, what people value and what drives you or what you love, and put it to work. At the start, I know it might feel hard. It feels like you're walking your own path, but I think we just have to be courageous enough to invest in ourselves. So this was also the mindset I had when creating Happy Skin. Around that time, I had around 15 years of modeling and as a beauty columnist. So I had an in-depth look into the local cosmetics landscape. And I realized there was no makeup brand that cared for the skin, suited the Philippines' tropical weather, and had the Filipino skin tone in mind, me being a morena. It was actually during the peak of my modeling career that my skin was at its worst. Putting on makeup to cover bad skin was a vicious cycle, right? When I wash my face, I still get breakouts. And I understood what it felt like to break out whenever I used makeup. And although there were so many amazing foreign brands, they just didn't suit the Filipino skin tone and our weather, our super humid weather.
Yeah.
So instead of waiting for someone to come up with a solution to a personal pain point, I thought, why not create it? So in 2013, Happy Skin came to life, born out of my passion for beauty and because there was really a gap in the cosmetics industry that needed to be filled. I guess a lot of people your viewers always think, oh, I want to start a business because I want to get out of a 9-to-5 job, or I think I'll have more time. But for me, unlike most people who start a business, I wasn't really driven by money or a way out of a corporate job. It was really more of or a desire to have more free time.
Yeah.
It was really because I was so passionate about beauty and makeup, and I felt that frustration that a lot of Filipinas were experiencing. And looking back, I think the biggest challenge or struggle back then was when we were launching. It was such a challenge to start a beauty brand in an environment where the word local was yet to be embraced by consumers. Kasi what, 8 years ago, the cosmetics industry back then was 90% imported brands. And we wanted to change this by being able to compete with the best in terms of quality, innovation, and we did, and we continue to do so. So from day one, it was clear we wanted to aspire to be a global Pinoy brand, proudly homegrown with Filipino minds behind it and committed to offering world-class quality. And you know what, today, it's kind of become social currency to wear something from a local brand, diba? Or a local designer that maybe not so many people know about. You feel like it's so different from what's mainstream. And it's an exciting time because more people now have more pride in local talent, local brands, anything homegrown. And especially in the world of beauty, I'd really like to think that Happy Skin somehow contributed to this change in culture or this mindset from prizing what's imported to genuinely loving what's local right now.
Yeah, I think, looking back when I was in college or high school, we only really like aspire to buy MAC, all those products before. And I think after you launched, now that I think about it, that's when all the other local cosmetic companies popped up. So yeah, I think, Happy Skin really started. I don't really remember any before that. And I think I like what you said, that you weren't trying to run away from like a corporate job or running away from, wanting to have your own time, but really it was just out of like your passion. And I guess it was ingrained in you to like just try to, fix things or add value to other people. So for our aspiring entrepreneurs, you don't have to super make it pilit na you want to start a business just because you want to leave your current situation. Just, follow like what you're feeling and what you think you're good at and how you can add value, I feel. I guess besides, of course, launching Happy Skin as a local cosmetics company, how about you personally as a woman entrepreneur? Like, were there any personal struggles that you came across and how you overcame them?
I think being a woman in a male-dominated field really has its challenges because business back then was really more for men. In fact, you will hear more businessmen or businessman, not businesswoman, right? So that's the standard label for anyone in the world of business. And the thing about our culture is people really expect us Filipinas to be docile, which is a harmful stereotype kasi when we speak up, our minds were labeled as bossy, uptight, or know-it-all. And then being a woman today in this era is also difficult because there's this huge pressure where women have to be great both at home and at work, to combine that professional success and commitment to that family. And it's unfair because there's so many gender stereotypes and there's so many women who put their careers first. They're praised, while those who choose family, they just appear as not committed enough or unprofessional at work. So it's really hard, to feel successful at work if you're also not successful at home. I think a good support system is so important for any woman today. And for me, I found that in my husband, in my own partner. It might sound weird, like the one empowering is my partner or my husband, but it's really because he also believes in what a woman can do. Like for maybe your viewers who are younger and have yet to find their lifelong partner, I think you always have to ask yourself before plunging into that forever after, is this person going to be 100% supportive of all your aspirations? And I don't mean just saying yes, that, you can do whatever you want. I mean, is he going to care about sharing the workload at home? Does he care about caring for children when you guys have kids? Or are you going to get dumped with all the unpaid home labor? So these are the things you have to consider because they say that a woman's career is only as good as the person she marries. And we always hear the expression of women breaking the glass ceiling. And I recently read an article that said that your glass ceiling is sleeping in bed next to you. And so women marry their glass ceilings. And for me, I really feel so thankful. I have a husband who never held me back. And I was able to start and run a business while juggling 2 babies back then. They were super babies. Got to pursue my MBA, publish a book all at the same time. And honestly, any success I've achieved is directly related to how much he was willing to be an amazing parent. And he supports me to the point that he always makes sure that I have time to accomplish whatever I need to do. And a lot of wins in my life, I really owe to him. In fact, I want to share a quote, one of my favorite quotes. Sheryl Sandberg of Facebook, the CEO, once said in a college commencement speech that the most important career decision you're going to make is whether or not you have a life partner and who that partner is. If I think about it in my life, like I said, so much of all my wins, I really owe it to having Paolo in my life.
I really, really agree with that. And like I tell my younger clients, especially that are we're about to get married or who don't have partners yet, that the biggest money making decision they'll have is their partner because they'll really affect parang how you manage your money, how you make your money,
Yeah.
how you run your career or your business. So super powerful. So now guys, if you're already having trouble in your relationship or they're holding you back, then really think about it because there will really it's really a hindrance to your success. I really believe that as well. So you mentioned, you wrote a book and you took an MBA. So in your book, Read My Lips, you interviewed a lot of the biggest leaders in business and in beauty. Of all the people you interviewed through MBA in a minute, I guess what advice was your favorite or impacted you the most or something really memorable for you?
Well, the book is entitled Read My Lips, What It Takes to Build a World-Class Homegrown Brand. And it actually shares my happy skin journey. So many people want to get and start their own business. And entrepreneurship today is so glamorized, but there are a lot of truths that people don't really talk about, like 24/7 work, things you wish you knew from the start, or things that challenge your or test integrity, or even while as an entrepreneur that you constantly question your life path. And I think I'm hoping that, of course, the book makes a great read, whether you're about to start a business or like your clients who are in a corporate job and they're thinking of pivoting to a different career, or you want to stay in your job and you want to do a side hustle. Another reason why I felt compelled to write my book was to also empower more women. The more women there are in business, the better it is for society, and so that women can really discover what they're passionate about and achieve economic or financial independence. I just want to share, I actually have a copy of the book here.
Okay.
And during the lockdown, so many people were tagging me when the lockdown started because some people lost their jobs. They would buy the book because they wanted to start a business. And those who already read the book reread it because they wanted to revisit some lessons. And the chapter you mentioned, the MBA in a minute, that's actually one of my favorite chapters because that's where I gathered the biggest business leaders, where, the people who we all wish we had a minute with.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember feeling super surprised that their most painful moments in business came from their personal struggles. And I knew that, creating and having a successful business would really test me in every way. But looking back, I think I expected the most difficult experiences to be professional obstacles, related professionally. But I was surprised that the harder sacrifices would be, in fact, more personal, just like everyone I interviewed. And after having conversations with all of them, I guess that's a common experience for people in, entrepreneurship or in business. And I guess for me, the biggest lesson I realized was there are just things you can't prepare for. And in the end, it's really how you deal with it that underscores your character or what you value.
Yeah. I think even in corporate, because I'm still in corporate, as I mentioned, sometimes it gets really, really tough. But actually, it's not the workload that's tough. It's that personal struggle or whatever, or people around you, or your internal struggle. So I think, yeah, even with business pala, no, you think these big leaders are like, they know everything already. They're super confident, but it's kind of humbling, I guess, to know that they also go through their own, personal struggles, and it's normal. So let's go back to, I guess, finance stuff or maybe investing in yourself or your business. I guess as an experienced entrepreneur, what could you tell our aspiring entrepreneurs who are watching right now? Like, what is the most important thing they should invest in when starting a business?
One of the biggest mistakes a business can make is not investing in HR and your employees. I'll admit, in Happy Skin, when we started, it wasn't one of the things we prioritized when we were starting. It came much later on when all the other positions in the company were already filled. And so there's one thing I noticed among different entrepreneurs or even business leaders in a company. No matter what life stage of the company or business is, managing people is always the hardest thing about running a business, right? Putting up a brand, it doesn't end with creating a product or being innovative with your products or services. That's just one part. The bigger chunk where all the work lies is in managing people. Employees are going to be your most important asset, and they're what will make or break an organization, especially when you want to grow or scale the business. There are a lot of business schools, they'll teach you about how to manage the finances or how to streamline operations, but people aren't numbers. So getting a team of people to believe in the same thing and work towards the same goal, It's something you have to learn, and HR is so important to managing that kind of asset. And if there's one thing I want to add that future business owners should invest in, it's education. I'm such an advocate of education, and I think it's an asset that no one can ever take away from you. When I did my MBA in AIM, Asian Institute of Management, it really opened my eyes in immeasurable ways. I think that's where I really saw the potential of how a business can go beyond business. And there are so many values I carry as an entrepreneur that were affirmed by my studies. It was a 20-month course, and I can say that it's something that was the most rewarding, even if it was super hard. But it also helped me stay on my toes with regard to where I can take my business.
Since this is Simply Finance, and this will be the last question, I always ask my guests this. What are your top 3 personal finance tips that you really live by?
Okay, I think I want to keep it practical and relatable, so it's easy to apply no matter who's listening, whatever life stage they're in. And I feel like these days, the financial decisions of people are heavily influenced by social media. And there are 3 mindsets that I hope that your viewers try to avoid. And if we really want to achieve not just financial health, but also mental and emotional health. So maybe first, that mindset that you have to buy something just because others have them. It's easy to feel so envious when you see other people spending on nice things. But I think we have to remember that people only show the best side of themselves on social media. You only see the new, shiny things, not the struggles or the sacrifices they had to go through to afford them. Second, that mentality of spending to save money. This happens every month during the online sales, and it's very impulsive and can get dangerous. I know retail therapy can make you feel better, but the benefit or emotional high is really short-lived. Our purchases have to be more planned and not excessive. So maybe before adding to cart, you can always consider the break-even time. Will I use this enough to justify buying it? Or one time ko lang to gagamitin? Second, maybe the cost per use. How much am I paying every time I use this item? And last, maybe a cost-benefit analysis. Will buying this item put me in a better financial position or situation? One thing I do, it can get so tempting right now. You feel like adding to cart and pampering yourself, especially at a time like this, really adds to your mental and emotional health. But whenever I would buy something, I really just park it in my cart, and I would only consider it if it still haunts me after several days or even a week. There's even one item. It took me a year before I bought it. It was just, as in, I guess you really have to have that EQ. Everything's so uncertain. You really have to think twice harder right now at a time like this. I mean, it's easy to think short term, but you want to really be prepared for the long term. And siguro lastly, a lot of us always refuse to leave our comfort zone when it comes to money. I'm sure all of us have bought something because we're afraid to turn a friend down. We started something, or a tita who's selling something. I mean, we're just afraid to say no to them, or we avoid conversations about money with loved ones. And that's all avoidance. And I think we have to move past that and acknowledge the opportunity costs of avoidance. For example, the longer you put off investing, the more your money gets devalued by inflation. I said I'd keep it simple. No, what I mean is, this is why it's so important not to delay seeking financial advice from trusted sources like you or financial advisors, because that's why I said right before this interview, I really admire what you do, because it really empowers people to understand how to use their money or how to invest or how to save, what to do with it. Because maraming takot na it sounds so complicated, or I really don't know about it. And when you're afraid to touch your money, I think you have to all the more arm yourself with information. The more information you know, the less scary talking about money will be. And the more you know about handling money, the more you can grow it. So don't shy away from it and learning more about it.
I love that. It's so true, because with Pinoys especially, usually they think, just put your money in the bank so it's safe. They don't even want to dive into business or anything. Everything's scary. And I think, just keeping it simple and just doing something about it. Thank you so much, Rissa. I learned so much from you. I mean, you're such a driven entrepreneur that I wish someday I could be, if I could be one. But I'm sure our viewers were also very much inspired. I never knew that you were entrepreneurial when you were a child pa lang, and that, you did all these things already. And yeah, I wish you more luck and success. And I'm very, very, very happy that you did this. Do you want to promote anything to our viewers?
Oh, I
Or
forgot
where
to
they could
mention,
find you?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Rissa Mananquil Trillo. But I wanted to share that since you have all your viewers so interested and really contemplating on making that leap from being in a company to starting their own business, I made an arrangement with my publisher to offer a special
Oh,
discount for all your viewers.
cool.
I'll share with you the link and
Okay.
the code exclusive to Simply Finance so
Yeah.
that I hope it empowers more women to be financially independent and to make that leap.
Thank you so much, Risa. And guys, as usual, if you want to know more, you can go to @simplyfinanceph or book a free discovery call at simplyfinanceph.com. And I'll see you again on the next episode. Bye.